Maybe you are not lazy like everybody keeps saying anymore. Maybe your mind simply discovered a safer place hiding inside fantasies. And honestly, that can become far more dangerous than laziness itself. You sit down, planning finally changing your entire life tomorrow morning, but suddenly your mind starts drifting somewhere strangely comforting again today. You imagine success before doing anything difficult inside your actual reality first. You imagine admiration before earning respect through uncomfortable, consistent effort daily. You imagine love before risking rejection from another real human being completely. And your brain quietly starts rewarding imagination instead of rewarding difficult action. What most people never realize is something dangerous slowly starts happening afterward. The brain cannot fully separate imagined rewards from emotional rewards sometimes anymore. So fantasy starts feeling emotionally real even without real-world results appearing outside. That creates something psychologists call false emotional completion inside your mind constantly. You mentally experience achievement before physically earning anything meaningful through action yourself. And afterward, reality suddenly feels slower, harder, heavier, and emotionally exhausting everywhere. Think about those moments nobody honestly talks deeply enough about online today. You promise yourself everything changes starting tomorrow morning after waking up early. Then hours disappear while imagining your future successful version smiling confidently everywhere. Meanwhile, your real life quietly stays exactly where it already was yesterday. Here's the hidden pattern most productivity advice completely misunderstands about motivation today. People usually escape into fantasy whenever reality feels emotionally painful inside themselves deeply. Fear of failure becomes heavier than actually trying something uncomfortable anymore sometimes. Loneliness becomes easier hiding beneath imaginary conversations and imaginary perfect relationships daily. Insecurity becomes temporarily invisible whenever fantasy creates a stronger imaginary identity inside you. Fantasy becomes emotional shelter from pressure, uncertainty, disappointment, and uncomfortable self-awareness altogether. And slowly your imagination becomes emotionally safer than your actual life feels anymore. That is why intelligent people often become trapped inside endless daydreaming cycles quietly. Not because they are weak or incapable of building meaningful, successful lives someday, but because imagination provides emotional comfort without requiring painful real-world vulnerability first. Your brain starts choosing comfort over growth without you consciously noticing anything happening. And eventually, something deeply strange starts happening inside your everyday normal routines too. You stop building your life and start mentally watching imagined versions instead daily. You imagine writing books instead of facing blank pages and uncertainty yourself tonight. You imagine becoming admired instead of risking embarrassment through visible beginner mistakes publicly. You imagine transformation while reality quietly waits for actual movement from you patiently. The dangerous part is fantasy temporarily removes discomfort without solving anything underneath completely. So reality keeps becoming harder each time you emotionally escape from it again. And the harder reality feels, the stronger fantasy starts emotionally pulling you backward. That creates a loop many people secretly live inside for several exhausting years. Avoid reality, escape mentally, feel temporary relief, repeat the cycle once more, endlessly. But here's the truth nobody explains carefully enough to struggling people today. Your imagination itself is not actually the real enemy hiding inside your life. A powerful imagination can create beautiful art, ambition, innovation, and meaningful personal growth. The real danger begins whenever fantasy completely replaces action inside your everyday existence. Fantasy should inspire reality instead of becoming permanent escape from uncomfortable growth forever. So next time your mind drifts somewhere emotionally comforting and beautifully unrealistic again, pause briefly and ask yourself one honest question before continuing that fantasy anymore. Am I preparing emotionally for life or escaping emotionally from life right now? Because that single question can quietly change your entire relationship with yourself completely. You are never completely lazy like you probably believed about yourself before today. Your mind simply became more attached to imagination than uncomfortable present reality lately. And maybe adulthood means learning staying present without instant emotional rewards every moment. A beautiful imagination becomes powerful only when reality finally starts moving beside it. If this gave you clarity, subscribe to Thought Margin for weekly psychological insights.